Hey, so as promised, here's part 2 of our video. So if you haven't seen the other video first, the one about the wrist warm-ups and the exercises that you can practice, please watch that one first, because there's just a little bit of information in it that is pertinent to what we'll be doing next. So one of the things that I kind of thought made more sense, or at least made enough sense to make a video about, was that I know that there's two things in particular beyond your wrist control, which we're working on all the time, that you're really struggling with. The first is the weight of your bow, making sure that everything feels comfortable as you play. And the second is as a result of the weight of your bow, trying to get clarity in your sound, because your fingers know what you're doing, your brain knows what you're doing, but you just can't seem to get the sound out the way that you want. So one of the ways that I was thinking that we could really work on that is to include the major scale or minor scale, depending on the song we're playing. And that's the key word there, depending on the song we're playing. The scale of the song that we're playing in. So if we look at this Star Wars that we're looking at right now, it is in the key of D. So the reason I chose Star Wars instead of Hedwig is because Star Wars is the one that you'd like to do for the recital. So it makes more sense for us to focus on the scale of D major than the scale of G major, which is what Hedwig's is based on. So, or at least I think so. I haven't seen that chart in a little while, so don't quote me on that. So for D major, again, after watching that last video, keep in mind here that this is a perfect opportunity for you to take really, really slow bow strokes and making sure that your bow is as straight as possible when you play, to really, really focus on your wrist. Because the more you focus on your wrist, the easier this will all get in the long run. So D major scale, I'll make sure that there's a copy of this in the Google Drive, comes in 3 parts. First part, the actual scale itself. Very straightforward. 2 strings, D string, A string, high 2 on both strings. So you have open 1, 2, high 2, 3. High 2 again is touching the 3rd finger. A string is open 1, high 2, 3. That's it. D major scale. Out of tune, as you can tell, but that's a good scale. Go for slowness over speed in this case, because you're really trying to get a nice clear sound. If you get a note that's shrieking, stop, see what it is that's causing it. Is it the fact that your wrist is limp? Is it that your elbow could be up a little bit higher? Is it that your finger has touched another string? Whatever it is, make a note of it and just try to adjust that, especially during scale practice. Less so during the song, more so during scale practice. Second half of this is arpeggio. You have open on the D string, 2 on the D string, open on the A string, 3. These are our chord notes. So from playing the piano, you know, we've got the 4 or however many notes of your chord that make up this D major chord. So for the arpeggio, we just break it apart into separate notes. But again, take that nice and slow. Broken thirds is the next part of the scale, so it's where you start skipping notes. So you go from open to 2, down to 1, then 3, 2 to 4, 3 to 1, open to 2. You're skipping back and forth. It sounds like this. Just a good exercise. So once we've got that down, then play Star Wars, but only after you've worked on that major scale. So now, when you go to play, your fingers already know where to go. Forgot about this, sorry. The scale that we're playing doesn't go below the D string. So remember, on your G string, you've got a high 3. So that high 3 is present. So when we get to this B section, high 3, but a normal 3 on D. High 3. Now when you see these accidentals at measure 15, they're going to make a little more sense because you already know what normal should be on the A string, right? Should be a high 2, should be a high 1. But here they're asking specifically for a low 2 and a low 1. So that's where you'll know that your accidentals are popping up, because they will go against normal. They won't feel normal because you've been practicing that scale. So when we get to this, unusual, unusual, normal, normal, unusual. So there's only 3 notes in that run that don't follow the pattern we've already been practicing in our major scale. That makes it that much easier to find, right? It just sort of helps give us a shortcut. Helps us to make sure that we know our notes before we even get started. Gives us the chance to play a little bit more slowly and clearly on those notes so everything feels comfortable. And it gives us a chance to work on our technique, which I know is something you want to spend a little bit of time on. So rather than beating Star Wars into the ground by playing the same section over and over and over again, go to your major scale first. Play through that even once before you play Star Wars. I think you'll be amazed at how much of a difference it makes just by running that scale one time before you play Star Wars. And do it every single time. Doesn't matter if you have 5 minutes, make part of that 5 minutes doing the scale just one time. And I think you'll be really surprised at how much of a difference it makes. Yeah. So paired with those wrist exercises and paired with just some of the specific things we talked about in the other video, give this all a try and let me know how it goes. Hopefully some of this sticks. Hopefully some of it makes sense and works for you. And if there are parts that don't work for you or parts you still have questions about, please don't hesitate to ask me, because I'm more than happy to redo any of this or change certain things so that it works better for you. So again, look forward to seeing you when you get back, but have an awesome trip and we'll see you soon.